Welcome back to another class on Amot Shel Halacha. In Ula Kadosh Baruch Hu be'olamo ila arba Amot Shel Halacha bilvad. We are beginning today the Chazara program of reviewing what we've learned in Siman Reish Tzadik Tet. We'll be using Rav David Yosef Sefer Halacha Berura on the review portion. It is actually nicely outlined. Isser achila ushtiya kodem havadala. The forbidden of eating and drinking before havadala. Asru chachamim litom kol davar ma'achal o mashke kodem sheyavdil alakos b'mot Shabbat. The rabbis forbade for one to taste anything or drink anything before havadala on a cup of wine on Mot Shabbat. Ve'amru chachamim, and the rabbis of blessed memory had said, שיש חשש סכנה למי שטועם במוצאי שבת קודם שיבדיל על הכוס. That there is a concern of a danger posed to one's life if he tastes something on Motzei Shabbat before doing havadala on a cup of wine. Now, I want to just share with you something very important. A lot of us don't realize the severity of eating before doing havadala. Now, you might tell me, Rabbi, I do havadala in the shul. That's very nice. Well, I'm not speaking about you per se. I'm speaking about maybe your wife and your children or your family members that they don't do havadala at home. One who does not do havadala and they go ahead and they first eat, you should know their punishment is going to be meted out to them through the punishment of askara. What does askara mean? Askara, Rabotai, the Chazal explain, lo leinu, is a form of a sickness that the swelling starts in the stomach, the intestines start to swell up, and they start moving upwards towards the neck area, where the windpipe is. And now they start swelling there also. Once the swelling begins by the neck area, lo leinu, the windpipe, the air circulation closes and the person dies. That is one of the worst forms of death. So, if you think it is kadai to eat before doing havadala, reconsider. This is why we started doing this halachot. People need to understand it's not about what I want to do, it's about what Hashem requires me to do. So he continues and he says, nevertheless, nevertheless, the Chachamim, they allowed one to drink water before he does havadala on a cup of water, on a cup of wine. Even if it's already after when the three stars have came out, meaning after the stars came out, one is allowed to go ahead and he's allowed to drink water. So let's put it to you like this. Halachically, you're not allowed to eat or drink anything before havadala. When I say havadala, I mean havadala on a cup of wine. Or if you don't have wine, havadala on a cup of beer. But let's say if a person wants to go ahead and he wants to have water, is that included in the rule also or not? Water we're going to be lenient with. Halachically, water one is allowed to have before doing havadala. But any other type of food or drink, one is not allowed to have before doing the havadala on a cup of wine. You have some people that are stringent not to drink water during the twilight period of Motzei Shabbat. Why? Because it's explained in the Midrash. You have over here a concern of danger. And nevertheless, one should only be stringent in this when you're dealing with the water which was drawn out from a river of Mot Shabbat during Ben Hashmashot period. Aval, however, he says, Mutar l'shtod mayim shebebayit. But one is allowed to go ahead and he's allowed to drink water which is inside his house. V'chen, and so too, mutar l'shtod kol מים שנשארו מן הנהר קודם השבת. So also one is allowed to drink all types of waters that were drawn out from the river prior to Shabbat. ויש אומרים שאין צריך להחמיר בזה אלא למי שהוא עוול בתוך 12 חודש אחר מיתת אחד מקרוביו שחייב לטבל עליו. Some want to say no, that this whole thing that we say that one should drink water if it's drawn from the river of the period of twilight of Amot Shabbat, that's specifically for a person who's a mourner and he's mourning a close relative like a father or mother during the 12-month period. Over there we're going to tell him that he shouldn't drink from that water, but everybody else can drink any type of water. So we see over here halachically, one is allowed to have water even when the stars come out. On Amot Shabbat, even though you still didn't do havadala, no problem. Amnam, however, he says, Ledat Rabotenu Mikubalim. According to the rabbis, according to the opinion of the rabbis who are the Mikubalim, meaning according to Kabbalah, Asur l'shtot mayim b'moti Shabbat kodem sheyavdil alakos. It is forbidden for a person to drink water on Moti Shabbat before he does havadala and a cup of wine. According to them, in their opinion, there is a danger that is posed to a person who drinks even regular water on Moti Shabbat before doing havadala and a cup of wine. Unless you are drinking this water which is in the middle of the meal, which dragged into the night. Meaning, a person sat down before sunset, or even during the twilight, he went and he washed his hands for bread. Now he's having his bread meal. Now he's waiting till after Shabbat, the stars already came out. He's waiting till after Shabbat. So you would have thought maybe he shouldn't also drink water according to the Mekubalim. No, the Mekubalim tell you that's only if you're drinking water alone and you're not having any bread meal. But if you're having a bread meal and now you want to have water, that is not a problem. It is good to take their words into consideration and be stringent not to drink even water after once the time for the 3 stars have come out, according to the opinion of the Geonim, which is about 13 and a half minutes. But he said, what happens if a person is very thirsty? Now you came to shul, I don't know, you walked a long distance, you see it's right after when the stars came out, you want to be stringent like the Mukubalim, and you have to daven Aravid. But to daven Aravid, you require energy, and you can't daven because you walked, or whatever it was, you were tired and you needed water to wash down your, I don't know, to wet your mouth a little bit. He tells you here in such a situation, you don't have to be stringent at all, and you're allowed to drink water on Mot Shabbat, even though you still didn't do havadala on a cup of wine. Ve'im tzarich livlo v'turova kodem havadala. If a person needs to swallow a pill before havadala, you're able to go ahead and swallow the pill with the addition of water. You don't have to be concerned for this at all. You don't have to be concerned with the opinion of the Mikubalim. The Mikubalim were speaking about a regular, normal case. A person comes home, he's able to go ahead and do havadala. He says, you know what, let me just have some water first. No, why? Do the havadala and then have the water. So too one is allowed to wash his mouth with water before doing havadala, and you don't have to be concerned for the opinion of the Mekubalim at all. When Yom Kippur comes out, if already the time of the stars coming out came, and you are thirsty to water, you're allowed to drink water before you do havadala on a cup of wine. I want you guys to see the language that he uses over here. If the stars already came, meaning Yom Kippur is already out, it's just you still don't do havadala. But he says here, and you are thirsty for water. Because you need to understand, a lot of people have this misconception that once Yom Kippur comes out, they have a bottle of water waiting for them, which is very nice. But you remember, you have two times. You have the opinion of the Geonim, which is 13 and a half minutes after sunset, and you have the opinion of Rabbeinu Tam, which is later. We want to try to follow the opinion of Rabbeinu Tam, especially on Yom Kippur, because this is the Oraita. Even Chacham Wadi says that on Yom Kippur, a person should not take out the fast according to the time of the Geonim, rather according to the time of Rabbeinu Tam, because we're dealing with the Oraita and stuff, the Oraita l'chumra. Unless he says you're weak, or you're an elderly person, or you're a woman that is pregnant or nursing, whatever it's going to be, then we're going to tell you, you take out the fast immediately once the stars come out. But otherwise, a person should postpone until the time of Rabbeinu Tam. What happens if a person still did not daven Aravit, and he did not say Atah Achonotanu in his prayer because he didn't daven, so he's going to say Atah Achonotanu. No problem. It is good for him to say Baruch HaMavdil ben Kodesh L'chol before he's going to go ahead and drink the cup of water. So Rabotai, let's do this. We saw over here a few halachot. That was, by the way, all halacha 1. We saw over here, point number 1, that the Chachamim forbade a person to eat or drink anything before doing havadala on a cup of wine. Except water. Water you're allowed to have even before you do havadala. That is the halacha. We explained the reason that a person who does not take this halacha seriously, he's going to be meted out with the punishment of askara. We saw according to the Mukobalim, they said you should not even be, we saw according to the opinion of the Mukobalim, you should even be stringent when it comes to water. And you should not drink the water after Mot Shabbat until you do havadala on a cup of wine. But we did explain that if a person was really thirsty and he wasn't going to be able to daven Aravit, you don't have to be afraid of it. Or if a person wants to swallow medication, not a problem. You don't have to be stringent. We also saw that a person is allowed to rinse his mouth with water before havadala. And then we saw by Yom Kippur that once the stars come out came, and if a person is thirsty for water, he's allowed to go out and drink water before he does havadala on a cup of wine. However, he did mention, if you still didn't daven Aravit, and since you didn't daven Aravit, you didn't say Atah Achonotanu inside the Shemona Esrei, so now you want to go drink the bottle of water on Yom Kippur, you should say Baruch HaMavdil ben Kodesh L'chol before you drink. Rabotai, have a great day. Baruch Adonai Olam. Amen ve'amen.